Hey guys, welcome to my first YouTube makeup video, and today I'm going to do an eyeshadow look, but I'm also going to do my full face also because it's how I usually do it, but it's the main focus today is going to be the eyes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with my foundations. I'm just getting my stuff out because I recently took it out with me. I've got loads of new products that I've never used before, so I could tell you about them too and what I think about them and stuff like that. So to start off with, I'm going to take off my glasses so then I can do my makeup obviously. I'm going to start off doing my concealer. I always do concealer first and then I do my foundation. I just feel like you get better coverage that way. So the first thing I'm going to use is my Bourjois concealer here, and it is in the colour 03 beige, and this is really good, but I find it's a little orange tone for me, so I try to mix it with another concealer which I'll show you, just because I don't like having like orange like base concealer or anything like that. So I'm just gonna put concealer just like this. Kind of look a bit crazy, but then after it's all blended it looks fine. So I'm actually lost my beauty blender as I was filming this, so I'm just gonna use this big Artiste brush. It's not the original because they're way too expensive, but this is just like a cheaper alternative and it works really well, and it's just basically very gently under the eye. Usually I would use a beauty blender and I would like blend under the eye, but since I can't find it at the moment, I'm just going to use this brush. Even though it's super big, it will work for now, just as an alternative for that. But this really mainly is used for foundation, which we'll probably use its use in a minute. So this is my next concealer. This is kind of like a Remna London concealer actually. This is a Remna London concealer called Hide the Blemish, and it's actually my shade. Like, it's light enough, it's not too orangey or too dark, so it works really well to make sure it cancels out any orange tone that I had underneath the other concealer. So it really makes my eyes look really awake. So I'll use a bit of that, and this time I'm going to use my ring finger on this hand, on my right hand, just to blend this one out gently, just because the bigger brush won't really budge this, because it's kind of like a stick formula, so it's kind of really difficult to blend in, so sometimes you'll have to use your finger for some products like that, which is why I do that. So it's blended in now as best as I can do it, and the best it can be, and then after I've done that, what I will do is I'll use my foundation. I'll go straight into foundation, and this is my Remna London Freshener Skin. Now sometimes I do use primer, but today I find that the primer really will dry out my skin, because my skin seems really dry, and the primer that you use will make my skin really dry, which is the reason why I'm not using primer, but I usually would use primer. And I've got a lot more to learn about makeup. Like, I'm not a professional or anything like that. I'm not like a makeup guru like a lot of people are on YouTube. I'm just a girl that enjoys exploring makeup. I like wearing it because I feel like you can really like make yourself the way you want to look. You can practice with different shades, and it's really fun overall. So I just do small little dots of foundation around my face. This is actually new foundation. I really love it. So around that one, because usually I find the problem with foundations is their shade, or they just look orange and they don't look your tone, even if it is your tone, because every time they dry they come up with an orange tone. And this is the only foundation I found that I find that actually doesn't dry up like that and looks really good and flawless all the time. It doesn't, but because obviously I don't have money to buy really expensive brands of makeup, I just use drugstore makeup and it does the trick for me. So just blending on the neck too, and on my ears a little bit, so I want everything to look even. And so the light is this way of my room, which is why I keep turning around to this side, just to make sure that I've blended everything out. Okay, so after that I always do this afterwards, just because I notice that when I put my foundation on, I usually go a bit over under my eye, just in case, so I get a little bit extra coverage under my eye. That's why I don't bake first. But now I'm going to use my baking powder, and I've actually lost the lid to this, but I think this is the collection baking powder, and I'm basically just going to dip my big fluffy brush in again, tap off any extra, and just bake under my eye. It's going to be a pretty light bake. I'm not going to bake too much, just because I'm not doing too much of a heavy look today. It's just really the eyes that matter. So I'm going to make it as flawless as I can, but it's not too important right now. So I'm just going to do that. And also anywhere else you feel like you need the light, so always they always put like concealer here, but because I've already put foundation, it will work, I think. So I'm just going to put some setting powder on my forehead, and up on the lip, my chin, and that is about the areas that I usually would want a little bit of light to bounce off. And the rest I want matte. I don't want this like flawless matted fied. I mean, like, I want a bit of a glow in certain areas, and some places your face you want it to be matte. So I kind of look really crazy right now, but everything will be blended out shortly. So after that, I'm actually going to get makeup wipe out. This is my Simply makeup wipes that I use. I'm just going to get the makeup wipe out and just wipe off any excess powder off my brush, because I'm going to use it maybe again in a few minutes just to blend out the powder. So I just want it like that. But in fact, actually I'm going to pick up quickly a bigger brush. So I'll still be right here. I'm just going to move off for a second and grab a bigger brush, just like one of these big puffy brushes that will do to brush away the stuff. So I don't want to leave it for too long, so I'm actually going to remove it right now. Some people leave it for quite a long time and do their eyes during this time to catch any pigment that falls off the eyeshadow. You can catch it through the powder, but I like to just brush it off now, just so then it's out the way. That way what I can do is I just take a minute. I know I've already applied a bit of foundation, but there is a bit of like extra powder which I don't like being, that collects by the side of my nose, because I think my nose can get a bit dry sometimes, and it's really difficult for the powder to like come off there. So I always get rid of any excess up there. I'm also going to get rid of any excess where the powder I don't want it to be. I'll just use the rest. I'll use this brush for the rest of the face. And just making sure that everything's blended out and everything looks fine. So now everything is blended and perfect to now go into the eyes. So I'm just making sure blended down the neck and everything. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to the eyes, which is the main feature of this video and what I focused on. So I'm going to use this palette, which is at least a few months old now. It's been used quite a lot, as you can see, because I like the different colours. Some colours I haven't touched because I'm too afraid to at the moment, but some colours I've always touched. But this is the Makeup Pro by London. It's just a random company. It's not a very big company at all. It's just one that I got given. So I'm going to actually do a bit of purple and a bit of pink, and I'm going to basically do a 2 colour on one eye. And actually what I do, I never really use brushes. I know a lot of makeup artists always use brushes, but for me, since I'm not like a makeup artist or anything, oops, I've just dropped my eyeshadow. Since I'm not a makeup artist or anything, I like don't use brushes yet, and I just find it a lot easier for me to just use my fingers to get proper precision in the places that I need to. So I'm going to use my fingers, but don't worry, I have washed my hands. So I'm going to go for the lighter colour inside and the darker colour on the outside. So I'm going to go for the purple over here, if you can see it. this purple here, and I'm going to mix it with a bit of this like other purple, like neon-y I was going to say, and also a dark purple near it. So I'm going to mix like 3 purples together to make the perfect shade that I want. And basically by the inner corner of your eye you want to put the purple shade in, the colour that you want. I'm just going to grab a brush because sometimes the eyeshadow, when you use that a lot, there's eyeshadow left but always in the corners of the pan and you can't quite grab it, so I always like to crush the eyeshadow a bit just to get hold of it and use it. So that is that. So again, there is a bit of fallout, and again that's why people like to leave the powder, the setting powder on, so then it captures it. But I personally don't, just because it's just a mess for me, and I feel like it will mix in with the powder when I brush it off, but it will go around the skin, so I just like to always take it off before I do my eyes look. But this is how it's supposed to look, so a bit like a pretty strong actually, the colour right there. And then I'll do the same thing on the other eye. I'm sorry, I'm always very silent when I'm doing my eyeshadow because I always like to make sure that it's as even as possible, because it always bugs me when it's not. That's why I'm never a fan of eyeliner, because oh goodness, it takes a while to perfect eyeliner. So it looks really dark on camera actually, but in real life this colour is actually pretty light. Also, I don't have any contacts, I just have my glasses on, so through this video I might actually pop on my glasses just to see if I want to check that everything is perfect fine. Like, I can pretty much see, but I want to make sure what you can see on the camera. This sucks, but it's like at night right now, so I don't really want to put my contacts in and take them out just for this video, and I thought it would be easier if I just put my glasses on. So okay, I'm going to put a bit more of the darker purple on the side of my eye, and then I'm going to check it quickly, and then we're going to do the dark eyeshadow on the outer corner. So apologies for this, but if I usually in my makeup videos I would have put on my contacts. I'm sorry, I keep dropping everything because I'm kind of nervous. This is like my first video I'm going to publicly like post. I've done some practice ones, but I've never like posted them, so this is my first time posting them. Okay, so now I think they're pretty much okay to like go on to the darker colour now. I'm just going to add a bit more on one more side, and then we're going to start with the dark colour. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this colour here, like it's like a dark pink magenta sort of colour, and I'm going to mix it a bit with the hot pink in the corner. So I'm just going to wipe down my fingers with my makeup wipe just to get rid of the purple, so I can use the same fingers again for the other, because they're like the easiest fingers to fit in my, I like to fit on my eye instead of using like a bigger finger. It's kind of more difficult because towards the end, when you get to the side of the eye, when you're going to do your eyeshadow, you don't want too much of a bigger finger, because then it can mess up and it can look really huge and blocky, but you just want it to fit your eye shape. You don't want it to go over too much. So I'm going to grab the magenta colour first. Actually, I don't know whether I'm going to add another. I should have mixed more with the magenta. Okay, maybe we will. I'm just looking at the colours right now, and I always, when I make my eyeshadow looks, I always think about on the spot what I'm going to do, like most of the time, because sometimes things change and I don't want that colour, or I don't think it's intense enough. So I'm just going to So I definitely am into purchasing I'm going to try and purchase a more expensive brand eyeshadow, because I really want to look into just buying one expensive eyeshadow palette from a really good company. If anyone has any recommendations, I would love a comment below, because I would really like to get like a really good one and always use that one, because the pigment on this particular eyeshadow palette is the best one I've ever had. And so, but I know there's better quality out there that I could try, and I've always wanted to try. So I might save up and try and just buy one expensive eye palette and use it for until obviously it runs out, or the date runs out or something. Okay, so I'm doing what I always freaking do, which is just check everything is even. So I'm like, I'm going over everything, checking everything as even as I want them to be. Again, there is fallout, but this kind of eyeshadow actually doesn't blend on, like if you brush away correctly, if you just quickly brush away and don't blend, then it won't blend into the skin and it won't end up ruining your base, which is your foundation, concealer and everything. So I'm going to do one more layer of the darker eyeshadow and pat it on. And now what I'm going to do is write down my finger again, because I only ended up using one. Then with the makeup wipe, I'm going to just put my finger inside of it, and I'm just going to wipe above my brow bone and on the side of my eye, just to make it so there isn't any fallout or anything that goes a little lightly under my eye. Any eyeshadow that goes too high, I get rid of, and anything that goes too low or a little bit messy on the sides, I like to get rid of, because I want everything to be neat and compacted and to shape my eye correctly. And then after that, I'm done with that. I'm actually going to okay, that's gone. Okay, now we're going to do a bit of mascara and stuff. So this is the mascara I use, which is a Bourjois Volume Reveal Adjustable Volume mascara, and it doesn't, the shade name is just black, so this is that one that they do. I really like this one because it comes with a little mirror on the side, but I'm going to just use my big one for now. Do a little bit of my lower lashes, and then for it to be like this. I just don't want my eyelashes to look too clumpy, but I really do like layering my mascara, because the more you layer, the more bigger the lashes look, and I really like when my eyelashes are big. Like, I always notice the difference when I do eyeshadow look and I don't have my mascara, because I feel like the mascara is what makes my look come together. So I really like having my okay, so that's as much as I'm going to do. I'm not going to do too much of my lower lashes, because I don't want it to clump up or anything. I'm also going to try, this is like a really cheap brand, it's from NY City Girl. It's just like a really cheap mascara, but like I always have one or two of these just in case, like I just want a quick on the go mascara, and I don't want to take like one of my main ones, because I don't want it to get ruined or anything. I think this is supposed to be a curved brush, or it's generally broken, but either way we'll use it. But yeah, I'm just going to get as close to my little small eyelashes near the corner of my eye as I can. And then what I'm going to do, because I've got a little bit of a mark on the side of one of my mascaras, I'm just going to get rid of that. A little bit more mascara, one on the side of my eyelid, on my right side, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, there we go. So that's got rid of. So everything's good there. Okay, so that is pretty much the look coming to an end now. So I'm just finishing off last finishing touches as I usually do. So I'm just combing through my eyebrows. My eyebrows do need threading again, which because I usually get them threaded. So because I find they really frame my face. So I love getting them done and for it to frame my face. So I got a really itchy arm today. I don't know why. Also, you could take a black pencil like this. This is pretty difficult to do though on camera because you kind of have to. I find I kind of have to look in the mirror and hold the mirror at the same time, and then go under my eye and line it a little bit. So if I just do a little bit like this, like I'm not going to pull down my eyelid just because I will need to hold them. I would have to like have a mirror, a standing mirror to be able to do it. It's hard to do on camera, I feel, especially if I don't have my contacts on. Okay, that looks a bit. Trying to smudge it a bit because it looks a little bit intense. You need to like blend it out a little bit, so then we'll wipe away a little bit extra. That reminds me of the last thing I usually actually do in all my eye look, which I will now do. Okay, there we go. So I've done a little bit of black near my tear ducts and outer eye. Usually some people would use a little bit of eyeshadow and they would run it underneath their waterline, just underneath the eyelash, not actually on the eye anywhere, and it would just frame the eye look and bring it together. But I'm just going to do, I did a little bit of that just to outline my eyes a bit. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of white eyeshadow in my tear ducts, and my tear duct is like right here. I usually use a little brush for this actually, but I need to find the little brush that I usually use, but I will just put a little bit of this. Yeah, I usually like to pack it a bit, but today I'm just going to do it a little bit lighter and not too much of it. So now I usually do have a base powder too that I use, just a normal powder that isn't a loose powder, so it isn't a baking powder, it's just a normal powder. But I did have it in front of me and now I can't find it, so we're just going to use a little bit of, we use the big brush. I'm going to get a little bit of loose powder and I'm just going to brush it along my face a little bit, just to get rid of any things that might have smudged off on obviously my eye makeup or any fallout, and also just mattify anywhere, and that would be done. And then I now would add a bit of lipstick. I'm not really the greatest at lipstick, so this is a liquid lipstick, a little bit easier because it's kind of like a wand applicator, but I'm never good at lipstick, and I'm still kind of trying to earn the confidence to actually wear lipstick full as the colour comes out. Like, yeah, they look really bad. I'm really bad at like lining my lips or filling in my lips with lipstick or anything, but I usually wipe away most of the lipstick. I leave a bit, try and wipe off any extra off my hand, and it just leaves a little thin layer off it, just a little bit of colour on my lips. I don't like putting too much because I kind of feel uncomfortable, because I feel the lipstick and the layers on me, so I don't really like having too much on my lips, which is why I took most of it off. Now this is really the focus on the eyes this video, like I said, so that's why I haven't put any highlight. I didn't start with the primer because of my dry kind of face at the moment because of the cold weather, but I usually would do highlight after this, and usually sometimes I actually do contour now. I've started to learn how to contour, but this is basically the finished look. I'm also going to put my glasses on so you know like what it looks like both ways, but this is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I was very nervous through this whole video, but this is just how I do my eye makeup. Someone suggested to me to do a video, and I finally came up with the courage to do it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments, any advice or anything, I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.